civilizational links that you spoke about. But there's also the thorn in the flesh when it comes to the Tamil Eelam issue. That is also a civilizational link, whether it is the language, whether it's the people, and whether it's the Eelam issue. So could you tell us about how things have moved on that front?
I think we have to start addressing it. I mean, our society is polarized. There is no question about it. Although we are a small country, we have many different sort of divisions. After the war in 2009, I think we have taken too long in a way in trying to work on the reconciliation. And then in the middle of all that, we had this other terror attack as well, which brought in another dimension.
The Easter Sunday
attack. So our current president is trying to look at it. His initial priority is to address the economic inequities, the developmental side, and then he wants to see how he can address. What happened last year has sent a signal to the political system. Now, if you look at our current president, he is looking at how he can increase youth representation in the parliament. He has selected young people through an application process to act as observers on the parliamentary committees. So his idea, I think, is step by step to try to create a new sort of a political space for the youth. Frankly, that is the solution.
Maybe our diversity in that also, to include Tamils also in that?
That is happening. He has done that. The Tamils, Muslims, and of course we also have a big divide within the Sinhalese, people who think in Sinhala and people who think in English. There is that crack is there, because there is a perception that, the certain privileged elite, a patrician elite who worked with the British, all the privileges. My view is that we have to go outside the old paradigms to find the solution. What happened last year is now getting our politicians to think. I think the next election, which will probably come sometime next year, may be the opportunity to look at everything afresh. That is my feeling.
The 13th Amendment, sir, the meeting happened and what
the discussion is going on that. I was involved in the peace process of 2001. What I found is that at every stage, politics gets in the way. I think there has to be some honest discussion about it. And maybe again, this is the time, because the economic crisis we went through last year, there were times at which I think people were able to get together across ethnic lines.
Despite all the good relations with India and India being the first mover whenever there is a crisis, don't you think, sir, this dilly-dallying of the implementation of 13th Amendment, which ma'am also asked, that is a big obstacle in our smooth sailing of our relationship, because there is a big population here who wants to see Tamils getting full rights.
Here's a short primer for details that viewers and listeners might not know about this. Ranil Wickramasinghe, who took over as the president last year, has underlined the need to fully implement the 13th Amendment to the Constitution to grant political autonomy to the minority Tamils in the country. The 13A provides for devolution of powers to the Tamil community in Sri Lanka. India has been pressing Sri Lanka to implement 13A, which was brought in after the Indo-Sri Lankan Agreement of 1987. Over to you, sir.
The 13th Amendment is not suspended at all. It is just that the way in which the election is going to be held had to be determined. They wanted to redo the lines on a national level. There was a demarcation to be done and certain changes to be made. All the parties in Parliament at that time agreed to this change. And what happened, I think, is finally it got caught up in all kinds of detail. As you know, this gerrymandering that takes place when you start redemarcating boundaries, and it got caught up in that. Now, to come out of it, Parliament again has to come to some kind of consensus. That is where it is stuck. Now, I think that is what the President is trying to resolve, how to do it. And to do that, he has to be able to get some kind of consensus within Parliament. So, let's see what happens.
Click here to watch the full episode.